everybody, this is Shagun Smith Francis and you're watching Teach Me SF. In today's video, we will be discussing the various types of banking. So let's begin with payment banking. Payment banking is a novel concept. It is a new model of banking. In 2013, RBI constituted a committee under the chairmanship of Dr. Nachiket More. It was constituted to study the comprehensive financial services for small businesses and low-income households. The objective of the committee was to propose measures for achieving financial inclusion and increased access to financial services. Now, on the recommendations of this committee, this banking system was introduced. This system was basically to cater to the financial needs of the small businesses and low income households and migrant labor workforce. It was to give them a secure technology driven environment. So, these payment banking systems included both current accounts and saving accounts. They carry on their operations on very small scales and without any credit risk. Credit risk means that they do not issue loans or credit cards. They accept restricted demand deposits of about rupees 1 lakh only, and they basically facilitate by payment services through mobile banking, third party transfers, and purchases and payments through internet banking. They also offer facilities like ATMs and debit cards. These are the companies that are registered as public limited companies under Companies Act 2013 and are licensed as payment banks under Section 22 of the Banking Regulation Act 1949. Here are some examples of the payment banks which are presently working in India. These are Airtel Payment Banks, Fino Payments Bank, India Post Payments Bank, Geo Payments Bank, NSDL Payments Bank, and Paytm Payments Bank Limited. Now, moving on to unit banking. Unit banking basically originated and developed in USA. This is a system where a single bank provides financial services to a local community. This is also called as one office banking or localized banking. These are individual banks without any branches or corporate relationships with other banks. Here, each unit bank has its own board of directors and stockholders. The major advantages here are that there is easy management and control, there is quick decision making, there is prevention of monopoly, and there is total satisfaction of the localized needs of the people or personalized needs of the people, and there is good management. But there are some disadvantages also. For example, there is no distribution of risk and there is less ability to face a crisis, there is lack of division of labor and specialization, etc. So we have other banking facilities as well. Now, to remove the deficiencies and the difficulties of unit banking, correspondent banking came into force. Correspondent are the banks which provide services to the clients on behalf of another bank. They facilitate wire transfers, conduct business transactions, accept deposits, and gather instruments on behalf of other financial institutions. Correspondent banks are intermediaries through which all unit banks are linked with bigger banks in financial centers, and these are the banks that carry out transactions for these banks where they do not have a branch. Next is branch banking. Branch banking is a method where a bank provides services to its customers through its various branches. There is a main office that is called the head office, and then there are several branch offices where the day-to-day performances of operations are done through the policies of the head office. Then is group banking. Group banking is a system in which two or more independent banks are brought under the control of one holding company. The holding company may be a bank, it may not be a bank. The individual banks basically operate either as a group or they may operate as unit banks. It is up to them, but each bank is a separate entity. This system of banking was popular in USA in the year 1925 to 29. Then is pure banking. On the basis of lending operations, the banks are divided into pure banking and mixed banking. In pure banking, the commercial banks give only short-term loans to industries, trade and commerce. They specialize in short-term finance only. And such type of banking is popular in UK. Then is the mixed banking. In this system, commercial banks perform dual functions of commercial banking and investment banking. They offer both short-term as well as medium-term loans. German banking system is the best example of a mixed banking. Then is relationship banking. This is a modern day type of banking. Here, basically, the banks maintain a very close relationship with its customers. They give them priority, they cater to their needs instantly, provide them good quality, efficient services. And this is done basically to retain their profitable accounts and to attract new potential accounts. Then is universal banking. Universal banking is a broad based comprehensive banking. Here, various types of activities and financial services are provided under one roof. These include investment banking, commercial banking, development banking, insurance, other financial services like merchant banking, mutual funds, factoring, housing finance, insurance, etc. Then is narrow banking. Narrow banking is a restricted type of banking activity. Here, the banks concentrate only on collection and lending. That's all that they do. They choose certain activities and they perform these activities for a particular region. Then is regional banking. Regional banking is also called as regional rural banks, where the regional rural banks are basically focused on providing the facilities, the financial facilities, and the banking facilities to the rural and the semi urban areas. These banks have basically played a major role in providing financial inclusion in India. The next is local area banks. Local area banks are similar to regional rural banks, but these are the banks that are owned up or established by the private sector. These have been established to bring a competitive environment and to overcome the deficiencies of the regional rural banks. Then is wholesale banking. Wholesale banking or corporate banking is basically for large sized customers. It does not cater to individuals or households. These banks basically work on wholesale. Wholesale means that these banks deal with large customers and keep only large accounts. They do not believe in opening 1,000 small accounts and incurring huge cost. They believe in a wholesale kind of banking environment. Then is retail banking. Retail banking is basically for individuals and families. These are targeted to customers or consumers rather than corporate clients, and they provide a whole set of products and services for the customers like purchasing homes, car, furniture, and for these they have provided various kinds of loans like housing loan, education loan, auto loan, credit cards, etc. So with this we come to an end to our this video, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. You've understood a lot about banking in this video. I will be coming up with more information in my next coming videos. Till then, take care and stay safe. Thank you.